And now it is my pleasure to call up our Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, who was elected at the end of 2021. She's been serving since 2022. Before this position, she was in the City Council from 2014 to 2021. She is also the first female and first woman of color to be Bronx Borough President.
All right. Thank you so much, Sky. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for such an important topic that will really make transformative change across our great city. I am so proud to be here with all of you as the 14th Bronx Borough President. On behalf of my team and I say thank you so much for the incredible opportunity. My health director is here, Dr. Nancy Keck, as well as my deputy director for my communications unit, Alondra Perez, is here. And we are excited to join with all of you. And first, let me begin by acknowledging the incredible work of Urban Resource Institute. To Nathaniel Fields, to Dr. Carla Smith, to our board chair, to all of the board members and trustees, and really to the entire URI family. Thank you for your life-changing work every single day in our city. Thank you to City and State. Thank you to City and State for hosting us. Every time I'm here in this space, it's usually a City and State forum. So I want to say thank you to City and State New York for always bringing us together to talk about the issues that matter, but the challenges that we face as a city. My sister, our Bronx District Attorney, Darcel Clark, amazing leader, my friend. It is really an honor to serve the great borough of the Bronx alongside Darcel Clark. And I have to say, we both are history makers, but more importantly than that, we align together on our priorities. As borough-wide elected officials, women of color and women of faith, we both realize that we have been called to serve. Darcel and I are so proud every day to wake up on purpose, with a purpose, realizing the assignment that we have been given to serve 1.5 million residents in the Boogie Down Bronx. So I just want to say, I love that. So I just want to say to District Attorney Darcel Clark, to you and your amazing team, I am always here to walk with you and work with you and partner with you and get $1 million grants with you, which is amazing because we face a lot in the Bronx. And many of you serve the Bronx, and you know that when it comes to some of the challenges that we are facing around domestic and gender-based violence, the Bronx is always at the top. When it comes to domestic incidents, domestic homicides, the Bronx is always at the top. And that's not the only thing that we lead in our borough, but for me as borough president, I am sick of the Bronx being first in everything bad and last in everything that is good. Because of the great work that URI and all of our credible messengers and trusted partners working with our city agencies, the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence, our mayor, Eric Adams, and all of our partners, we are going to change that narrative around the Bronx. We are going to set, that's right, we are going to set our clients up for success and not failure. We are going to remind our clients that they are the hope that we do this work for each and every day, every single day. So when you talk about this forum being a blueprint for change, it is a blueprint for hope, a blueprint for economic opportunities. It is a blueprint for pathways to success, for a better tomorrow. That's what this summit means to me. It means that we are identifying the challenges that we face, but we're also recognizing the progress that we have made in each of our organizations where we serve residents and clients each and every day. We want to make sure that every client we see that identifies as a victim can be a victor of their circumstance. They can truly get the victory. I call them strivers and thrivers because it means that they're striving to do better. They're striving for pathways. They're striving for safety for themselves and for their children. Domestic and gender-based violence has a disproportionate impact on women and women of color who are often wives and mothers, grandmothers. I also lift up our older adults who are victims of elder abuse. We cannot forget about those clients that we serve. Intimate partner abuse, as well as focusing on building healthy relationships. Because we know domestic and gender-based violence starts somewhere, and it's usually in the home. It's usually intergenerational, where a child has witnessed that violence by his or her parents. And so it is our job and our collective responsibility every day to shift the narrative, to change the conversation, and break down those statistics. I often say statistics can become success stories. For us in the Bronx, too many candlelight vigils that we've had to attend. I was just sharing with Dr. Carla Smith that just a few weeks ago in our borough in the East Bronx, a mom was in the midst of separating from the father of her children. And unfortunately, she lost her life right in front of her children. Think about the trauma that those children are now facing. So when you talk about the work of URI, it's not just stable housing. A roof over your head is absolutely critical, but it's the wraparound services. It's the trauma-informed care. It's the access to health care and mental health. It's focusing on those that may be depressed or suicidal, that may want to end their lives, that don't see a way out. They live in the shadows of darkness, but our work brings them into the light of hope, the light of victory, the light of opportunity. So I am grateful for organizations like URI. The Office of the Bronx Borough President has assembled a domestic violence working group where we meet quarterly with organizations that get it. They are on the ground, they are in the trenches, and they're serving clients with cultural sensitivity and language diversity, because not every client that comes before us speaks English as a primary language. So in addition to URI being an incredible part of our team, I want to say thank you to the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence, to Safe Horizon, to Sanctuary for Families, to NILAG, to Setin Yetu, to NIMIC, to We All Really Matter, also known as WARM, to the Family Justice Centers that we have, one in every borough. When I was in the city council, we only had 4 in 4 boroughs, but because of the work of the city council, we are now in all 5 boroughs. And I want to commend the New York City Council. Our Women's Caucus co-chair, Farrah Lewis, was here earlier, and our chair of the Education Committee, Councilmember Rita Joseph, is here. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. I acknowledge it. Everywhere I go, I'm outnumbered by Brooklyn. But it's okay. We have powerhouses in the city council that understand and recognize the importance of supporting clients and families that are facing domestic and gender-based violence. Other organizations I've worked with, Day One, VIP, New Economy Project, and New Destiny Housing, which I just visited one of their projects in the Bronx of providing affordable and supportive housing for domestic violence survivors and thrivers, giving them a key to their apartment that can unlock so much opportunity. When I was also in the city council, we were very proud to work with the NYPD to transform how clients are served when they talk to DV police officers. And because of a new contract that Safe Horizon has, All 77 police precincts now have social workers in the precincts to work with DV officers because we understood that clients did not always feel comfortable talking to uniformed members of the service. So we're bringing civilians to the table because we understand that you have to meet clients where they are. In addition, the DA talked about a $1 million grant over 3 years that our office was awarded with the district attorney and NILAG and the NYPD through the U.S. Department of Justice Violence Against Women Unit. And I'm very proud of this grant because it recognizes the intersection of domestic, gender-based violence, revenge porn, and stalking and strangulation. We have to realize that it's not just domestic violence, but it has so many forms and layers to this work. As a former member of the New York State Assembly, I was a part of efforts to pass legislation, codify legislation to protect orders of protection, to protect the identity of clients from moving their apartments, from getting out of cell phone contracts, from school work with school transfers to their children. A lot of these things that you often think about where paperwork is required of clients. It's repetitive, it double victimizes them, and we don't want them to languish in the system. Because of all your work, we have standardized this process much better, and we want to make sure that we're making it easier for clients to come forward. The most important thing I always think about are the documented calls versus the non-documented calls, the ones that we never hear about. When people say there was no sign, Madam Borough President, we didn't know, or making sure that residents and neighbors understand that if you hear something, if you see something, say something. It can save a life, not just the life of that victim, but the life of the children. If we are to do anything in this world, we must make a difference. We must make an impact. We must leave footprints for others to follow in this work. We have many success stories, but we know that in this work, unfortunately, we cannot save everyone. And every client that we lose is another family that is lost in the system. And it's heartbreaking. And often we don't find out until that incident or, unfortunately, that homicide. But we still keep going. We still push forward for that blueprint for change to end the cycle of domestic and gender-based violence and homelessness, to be that beacon of hope and that beacon of opportunity for a better tomorrow. As a woman of faith, I truly, truly say we are doing God's work. And we are called to serve for this time, for this reason, and this season. And every client that we encounter, that we work with, we are that beacon. We are that encouraging word. We are that support system that the client and family truly needs. And when you see the end results, you know that you are doing the work that you have been called to do. Domestic and gender-based violence comes in many forms, from physical, financial, emotional, to so many different layers that oftentimes we don't see. So forums like this allow us an opportunity to learn, to fellowship, to partner, to connect, to make sure that we're doing the very best that we can with the tools that we have in our toolbox. But I'm a firm believer in adding more tools to those toolboxes because we always are learning and constantly improving in our perfection. Whether it's financial empowerment, financial mastery, affordable housing, supportive housing, economic development, economic justice, workforce development, training assistance, life skills, so that survivors and thrivers know that I'm on a pathway to recovery and my circumstance does not define who I am, but rather I am a survivor. I am a thriver. I want to encourage all of you to keep going, keep doing this work. On behalf of our borough, we need to turn these numbers around. We need to make sure that the Bronx is not leading in domestic violence incidents, but rather we have some of the lowest. I would love to get down to 0, because that means that we're doing our job. We are fulfilling our destiny. And as the DA has said, we are resilient and tough in the Bronx. We figure it out. Folks have often knocked us down many times and ignored us, but that is not happening anymore under our leadership with 2 African-American women at the table. We will not let that happen. We will leave no money on the table. We will make sure that we spend every dollar we get and we invest it in our clients and our families and build real affordable housing for DV survivors and thrivers. We will turn our pain into purpose and our storm into a strength. And we will remind folks that, yes, I may have been through some things, but I am a survivor, and I am the blueprint for change. I am the blueprint for a better tomorrow. That is what you all are doing. So keep going. Don't settle for the floor when you can aim for the ceiling. Thank you, URI. Thank you to each and every one of you for what you do every single day. We appreciate your work. Keep going, keep going, keep going. The Bronx appreciates you, and we look forward to the work ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.